Okay, I'm back. And we are on to chapter 26 of Restart. It's getting so good. I've had several of you email me asking me to get this next chapter loaded up. Even a few of you in person told me today that you were really enjoying hearing the end of the story. So, sorry, my lighting's kind of being weird. So I don't know what's going on. It's kind of odd. Anyway, here we go. And I've been sneezing, so sorry if I sneeze in the middle. But we're on page 207, chapter 26. And we're in Joel Weber's point of view. I probably already said that, but I said it again. Okay. My black eye doesn't hurt anymore, although I look like I lost a game of chicken with an Amtrak train. Appearance-wise, the healing process might be worse than the bruise itself. It's when the swelling starts to go down that the new colors sprout up amid the black and blue. Purples, greens, yellows. Every time I catch my reflection, there's a whole different palette in the piece of modern art of my face. I saw a little bit of orange yesterday, so this face is just a rainbow of colors right now. I'm the only one in my family who finds the changing colors around my eye socket so intriguing. In a weird way, it's easier on me. If I'm sick of looking at myself, all I have to do is stay away from mirrors. My parents don't have that option. When they see my black eye in any of its stages of evolution, they're stricken with guilt. Maybe it was the wrong decision to bring you home, my father reflects sadly. Of course, it wasn't wrong, I try to assure him. I hated Milton. But aren't you afraid that, my mother lets out a short wheezing sob in C sharp, it might be starting up again? Afraid? Sure I am. When Chase, Aaron, and Bear were all over me last year, it was painful, humiliating, and downright scary. If you can't even ride your bike without a lacrosse stick sailing out of nowhere and sending you flying, life becomes impossible. You know it's not your fault. You know those guys are idiots. And yet you can't help thinking that somehow you deserved it somehow. Can't help but thinking that you somehow deserved it. That you might just be a teeny bit less worthy than anybody else. After all, how come no one is picking on any of them? But as worried as I am about all of that, I think what bothers me the most is how wrong I was about Chase. I honestly believed he changed. I was even starting to like the guy. It goes to show how mistaken a person can be. My parents' reaction is bad enough. My sister's is off the chain. Every change in the bruised topography of my face launches her into a new revenge fantasy about what she would do to Chase if I were in charge of the world. Some of these are so brutal and in some cases so downright gross that I have to cut her off. Come on, Shosh, I exclaim as the two of us head for Brendan's house on Sunday morning. Listen to yourself, like you'd ever put another human being through a wood chipper. That's pretty gross. I never said another human being, she replies evenly. I said alpha rat. And if you were paying attention, I said I'd feed him in feet first. That way he gets to watch while his whole lower body... Enough, I interrupt. You wouldn't do that. Nobody would do that. The Spanish Inquisition didn't do that. Only because the wood chipper hadn't been invented yet, she tells me sullenly. Anyway, I sigh, anxious to change the subject. I wonder what Brendan wants. What do you think? She snarls, still in a bad mood. He has another stupid idea for a YouTube video, and we're the cast and crew. The text said that's not it, I remind her. It better not be, or otherwise Brendan's going in the wood chipper. That's my sister. No problem's ever so small that she can't overreact to it. We start up the Espinosa's front walk and come face to face with Kimberly. Oh, hi guys. She gives me a long, hard look. Your eye is better? She adds dubiously. I'm okay, I say quickly. I don't want Shush to nominate any more candidates for the wood chipper. You also got the text? My sister asks Kimberly. She nods. And Chase is coming too. What? Chase? Shosh grabs my arm and starts dragging me down the walk. Brendan explodes out of the front door and runs up to us. Where are you going? Chase Ambrose isn't coming anywhere near me or my brother, Shosh seethes. That's why I invited you. Chase is innocent. She keeps pulling me along. Well, not totally innocent, Brendan pleads, but he didn't hit Joel on purpose. He was just as blindsided as we were. I've got proof. What proof? I ask. One-man band, he explains. The video survived, and it proves that Chase was trying to stop Aaron and Bear. We're going home, Shosh insists. You go home, I tell her. I'm staying. Here? She demands. With that guy coming over? This time I don't let her push me around. I want to know what happened. I have to see it for myself. And she stays too, probably because she thinks I need protection. A lot of guys would be embarrassed about that, but I'm at least a little bit grateful. At any minute, Chase is going to walk in Brendan's front door, and I can't predict how I'm going to feel about it. I've seen him around school here and there. Still, this would be the first time since the fire extinguisher incident that we'll be in the same room together. We establish ourselves on the living room couch, and Brendan sets up his computer on the coffee table. I transferred this from one of my flip cams, he explains. I brought it home to shoot something else, and this was on it. He puts out some snacks, and we settle in to wait for Chase. 20 minutes go by. Then we're up to half an hour. Kimberly is impatient, mostly because Chase is the only reason she's here. Where is he? Brendan texts again. No answer. Well, what did you expect, Shosh scoffs. He said he was coming. Brendan insists. He cares as much about you as he cares about everybody else except himself. 0. Face it, he blew you off. My sister stands up. Let's go, Joel. We've already wasted enough of our lives, courtesy of Chase Ambrose. I turn to Brendan. Play the video. Chase can see it some other time. We fast forward through most of it, watching musician Brendan popping up all around the risers, playing different instruments for this one-man band. He switches into regular playback once the tuba sequence comes up. I feel my stomach muscles tense. As much as I've been bullied, I've never had the opportunity to actually watch it happen before. The impatient expression on Shosh's face is replaced by one of intense concentration. I don't get it, Kimberly puts in. All I see is Brendan. Where's everybody else? You and Joel are there, but you're both out of frame, Brendan explains. Keep watching. We hear Aaron and Bear fling the door open, even though they're off camera. The first thing we actually see are 2 jets of white foam that catch Brendan full in the face. He goes down, tuba and all. It would be funny if I didn't know what was coming next. When the streams of foam change direction to some target off screen to the right, I know I'm the one in the line of fire. There's a lot of yelling going on, and I hear my own voice in there with Brendan, Kimberly, and the 2 attackers. After a few more blasts of foam, Aaron and Bear step into the frame, appearing on the left side of the screen. The next part I remember all too well. Aaron and Bear are tossing instruments all over the place and trashing the band room. I try to take on Aaron, but he shoves me down into the foam. It's hard to watch, but not as hard as I thought it would be. This is not who I am, I tell myself. It's just something that happened to me. Somehow, seeing it unfold in real time, in high-definition video, I'm able to expand the fracas in the band room to include every rotten bullying thing that was ever done to me. And here I am, alive, undamaged. Well, except my eye. I've been victimized, but I don't have to let that define me as a victim. I'm back at home, back to myself. And that's when Chase makes his appearance on the computer screen. He seems totally stunned by what he finds. Even when Bear thrusts the fire extinguisher into his arms, I sit forward eagerly because that's my fire extinguisher, the one that's about to bash me in the eye. Sorry, if you hear a loud noise, my son Elliot is upstairs doing karate, and it's a little loud right now. It'll quiet down in a minute. It's fun being a teacher at home. Okay, back to the story. And of course, I just lost track of where I am. Okay, I sit forward eagerly because that's my fire extinguisher, the one that's about to bash me in the eye. As I catch Chase and Bear struggling over the shiny metal cylinder, I tense, knowing it's coming any second. I'm following the combatants, checking for the high sign, the nod of acknowledgement that shows that the three are in cahoots. So he's looking for signs that show that Chase is a part of this horrible thing that Bear and Aaron are pulling off. So he's kind of watching to see if they're signaling to Chase to do something. And so that's what he's talking about there. Okay. I'm following the combatants, checking for the high sign, a nod of accomplishment that shows that the three are in cahoots. And it's time to clobber the kid who got them put in community service. It doesn't come. Chase wins the tug-of-war and my face gets in the way. That's all that happens. Brendan pauses the video. An accident, he says triumphantly. I agree, I tell him. Wow, Chase must be really strong. Is what Kimberly gets out of it. That's her comment to the whole thing. Shasha's cheeks are bright red as she digests the truth. My sister judges everything and everybody so harshly that when her judgment falls on herself, it's like the end of the world. He still lied, she says, tight-lipped. He's not perfect, Brendan agrees, but think of the trouble he would have been facing if he'd gotten blamed for all of that. If it was you and you saw an easy way out, wouldn't you take it? Shasha's stubborn. I wouldn't be in a mess like that because I don't hang out with pond scum. I look at her. We have to at least talk to him. I'm expecting more than an argument, but she nods, and I think of plenty of things to say. And I can think of plenty of things to say. One of those things would be, I'm sorry, Brendan puts in pointedly. She glares at him. We'll see. But if it is, it'll be the last item on my list. Where is Chase? Kimberly asks in annoyance. Brendan, you said he was going to be here. Brendan is already on the phone talking to Mrs. Ambrose. He frowns, thanks her, and hangs up. According to his mom, he's on his way to Portland Street. She said he was in a real hurry. Did he forget to come? I ask. Brendan shakes his head. He said he'd be here. He just texted a couple hours ago. Shosh stands up. Let's go over to Portland Street. Okay, so that is the end of chapter 26. It's getting really interesting. So now we'll see what happens when they all get to Portland Street. Maybe they'll be there at the same time. Maybe they'll just miss each other. But now Brendan, Joel, and Shoshana know the truth thanks to that video. Pretty cool. Alrighty, stay tuned for chapter 27.